Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 27th through July 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or skins, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skins uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
boys, back on the Bossman Show with Coach Travis DeCuire here for the Montana Grizzlies, the Big Sky champions. Left Boise, Idaho, with the Nets cut down. Coach, good talk to you, man. How things out there in Montana, man?
It's been great. It's been great, especially after, a win like Wednesday night. The energy's high, but it's been great all year.
And Coach, for you, man, it's third time you're going to the NCAA tournament, man. How's this feel to return again, and how does this one feel compared to the prior two that you went to?
You feel like it's long overdue. We went back to 18-19. At the time, we had been in 4 out of 5 championship games, and then COVID hit, and you don't really realize it until you look back how much it impacted our culture. Just the way that you recruit, the lack of actual interactions when you're building a team, and you really don't know what you have until you go to war. And so it took us a long time to get our culture back. And so right now, this is one of my favorite experiences in terms of how we built this group and how they've come together for one another. So it's been a fun ride this year.
And Coach, talk about this, Coach, how from you to the strength and conditioning coaches, compliances, the managers who take care of things, the people don't see, all the people who poured in this program to help you get to this point, and that sacrifice that they make, and also including you and your staff and the players, all the time you put in. So talk about just giving that piece of yourself for the greater good of a team and seeing it come to fruition in Boise on Wednesday night.
It's why I'm sitting here in the Zoom with you right now. We've got a manager that stuck around over the winter break. Everybody went home during winter vacation for those 3-4 weeks we were out of school, and we got one that showed up for every practice. We had another one that got in his car and drove to Portland for our game on the road to be there with our guys, getting up shots before the game, after practice, things like that. Our managers come back late night. They're here early in the morning. We got a couple of young ladies that at least one of them's at every practice, running our score clock. And then our strength coach is really, I feel like, the biggest boost for us this year. In the past, we've had a strength coach that worked with multiple sports. He would be at some practices. He'd come on the road once or twice, but he really wasn't a full-time member of our staff because he had so many other programs that he was involved with. And last year we lost in championship game, and I felt like we didn't have the toughness we needed to finish in a championship game. And I believe physical toughness leads to mental toughness. And so we invested in a new full-time position every practice, every road trip as a member of our staff. A guy by the name of Andrew Barrier, and he's been incredible with our group. The guys feel his investment. And so they get the most out of, the nutrition and the time in the weight room. And I felt like we were the strongest team in the tournament this year.
No doubt, Coach. And you were on a hell of a streak, man. 14 and 15 to end the regular season through the Big Sky tournament. And I want to ask you this: how that overtime loss to Portland State kind of allow you to refocus your team and teach from a loss rather than trying to teach from a win? Because you can really go a little harder at them after a loss, a tough one like that, than you can trying to learn and get better off wins all the time.
Well, when you're on a streak, sometimes you forget you're human, right? And when you're young, you feel like you can't lose when you're on that ride. And so I think it was healthy for us to reevaluate where we were, because there were some things we weren't doing well during our streak. And, you just kind of keep playing and until you pay a price, and then you get everybody's attention again. But also for the staff, we were closing close games a certain way. And we had a couple guys get hurt the game before the Portland State game. And it changed how we played the last 4 or 5 minutes of a game. And we went 5 minutes without scoring at Portland State after building a 10-point lead. And so I, double back and you watch film and you realize, there were some guys not available to us in the way that we needed them. And so it was important to get those guys as close to 100% as possible going into the tournament. And Wednesday night, we closed the same way we had closed during those streaks.
100%, Coach. And against NAU, Coach, you held them to 40% field goal percentage. And they were doing a lot of switching, a lot of switching, a lot of aggressive switching. And you all kind of sought out the right mismatch and matchups and made the right plays off those matchups. So talk about your defense holding them for 40%, also using their defense aggressiveness against them to find the right matchups for you all to get the shots you all want.
Well, attacking the switch has been a strength of ours all year. A lot of teams in our conference switch. There's such good shooting in our conference that everyone is kind of adapted to switching ball screens and minimizing 3-point shots. And we've got multiple guys that can put the ball on the floor and create a shot for themselves. We've got some guys that can play inside and punish smaller defenders. And so we've grown to become a team that plays well in isolations. And then on the defensive side, we had been explosive offensively during our streak, our 10-game win streak. We were shooting about 60% from the floor during that stretch. And I kept telling the guys, we're going to have to be a better defensive team to win the tournament. And so for us to come out in 2 consecutive games, NAU and Idaho as well, and hold both teams under 40%, showed that we had a team that was committed to winning the championship.
And Coach, when I looked at the stats, man, you had more assists than had made baskets in Idaho, man. Have you ever had a game like that before in Big Sky play where you all have had more assists than another team had field goals made? I mean, I thought it was an amazing stat when I read it.
We hadn't this year. Our 2018 team had some games like that. We were so good defensively, we forced a lot of turnovers. And because of that, our opponents weren't getting enough shots. And so we would see stat sheets like that. But this year we hadn't defended well enough to do that, which that's why I knew we had a chance at winning the championship, after that NAU game, seeing us defend the way we did.
And Coach, Northern Colorado got you pretty good early in the year, man. I know they had to motivate your guys, man, to say, hey, look, we can't do this again. These guys dumped us pretty good once earlier in the season. So talk about how I saw the focus on your guys' eyes, but as you prep for that game, man, talk about the approach to your young men who was everyday guys, who was locked in on that. And hey, look, we got to beat this team. It's a quality team. CC does a hell of a job over there. We have to come out with aggressiveness and jump them first.
Yeah, when we played that at home, we thought we were good, but we weren't good. We weren't playing great basketball. We were winning off talent, explosive offensive players, but we weren't sharing the ball. We weren't playing together. We were shooting tough shots. Our assist-to-turnover ratio was negative for some guys. And because we had been winning, it was really hard to get everybody's undivided attention in terms of how to play together. So that loss highlighted our weaknesses. And so we had an incredible film session afterwards. We went on the road, played better at Weber, but not great. And then we had a first half against Idaho State that was the product we needed to see. Unfortunately, we had a lead at halftime. And sometimes success doesn't always lead to consistency. And so we came out in the second half and went back to playing the way we played against Northern Colorado. So when we got home, we had a game that was a Saturday. So we had a game that following Monday against Idaho. And we spent Sunday really just in meetings with the core group of guys that were the problem, which were all our best players. And we watched film and we had a long conversation about sharing and playing together and what everyone needed from one another. It was the most honest conversation that I've ever had a team have because one of our leaders spoke up. And so we came out and that's when the streak started and we started sharing the ball and you started seeing games, 15 assists, 19 assists, 21 assists. And once our guys got a feel for what it was, and we put it on film and now we can show them good clips, the rest was history. And so when we went back and played Northern Colorado the second time, I believe we shot 65% in the first half and we were a more physical basketball team. We tightened up some things defensively and proved to ourselves that we could be a better team than them. And so from that point forward, we pretty much were the best team in the conference while riding that streak. So that's why going into the tournament, championship game, we in the locker room, you could tell from the vibe, the guys knew it was a very winnable game. We just had to play the right way.
No doubt, Coach. You had guys on your roster, Joe, first team, Malik Moore, Brandon Whitney, Money Williams, top reserve, second team. You had a talent on your roster. And like you said, having them all come together and contribute, and Kyle Johnson, all tournament team as well. So you got 5 guys recognition on your roster, man. And just like talk about like you said, getting them to share that ball, just having us mesh the right way. Because in this game, people can get selfish and they're thinking about our next year contracts and having to put all that on the back burner for that greater good. And having these 5 young men who perform very highly for you got recognition to come together, man, it's amazing to see.
Right. No, it's you're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley going for the record. And as a fan, I wanted to see him get the record. I wanted to see it for his linemen. I wanted to see it for just the entire organization. It's something that someone can't take away because you're not guaranteed a Super Bowl, right? And it's very similar to how we approach things with our team this year. Is we've got a lot of weapons, and if we'd had one guy average 20 a game, we would not have won the championship. And our depth was our strength. And so you look up and in different games, different guys finished, different guys led us in scoring. That is why we only had one first team all conference player instead of two or three, like Northern Colorado had three. And I thought that if we were going to win a championship, that balance would be our strength. Getting guys to buy into that is very difficult in this day and time because they all want to be first team all conference players. They all want to play professionally. When your leading scorer only averages 12 or 13 points a game as opposed to 17, 18 somewhere else, it's very difficult to sell. And so we just keep pointing at the banners and the Raptors about, hey, this is how we win. This is how we win a championship. And so we need to be the most selfless team in the conference. And we became that. But it wouldn't have felt the same if we didn't win a championship. And so you got to make it happen to make it worth it to everyone in terms of the commitments and sacrifices that they've all made.
No doubt, Coach. And it's very important. I try to tell you, who I mentor, it's not so much who starts, sometimes who finishes the game. That's really way more important. Right. And sometimes, based on the flow of the game, you won't finish every game. But if you're in that conversation, the coach trusts you and you have a role on this team. So I think sometimes young men get caught up in starting so much, but how about did you finish? And Money Williams finished a lot for you. So like he showed his work finishing the games for you. He didn't start, but he finished for you. So I think he's a perfect example to talk to these young men who get caught up in starting so much. Let's talk about who finished the game.
Well, for us, we weren't that good offensively for a while. And a lot of Money's success is built on who's around him. He's an incredible creator. And so if you spread him around with, one post that's good at finishing around the rim and three shooters in that space, he's an incredible basketball player, which is what put him, on NBA draft boards. And so our starting lineup isn't that. We don't have a plethora of shooting in our starting lineup. And so he didn't really fit with those guys. And so I thought making the adjustment, putting Kai in the starting lineup and having Money come in at the 16-minute mark along with a shooter allowed us to play a way that fit him for his minutes. And that's when our offense became explosive and our field goal percentage increased.
And Coach, you shot 50% from the field overall, 36 from three. You have to be really impressed with your guys shooting. That goes to them coming in and getting extra shots up, honing their talent, developing themselves. Because, shoot 50% overall, man, you're going to be in a lot of games.
Right. Some of that is the work the guys are putting in before and after practice, coming back at night, our managers being available, player development with our staff during the week. But the part that I think no one really talks about very much is the shot selection and have an understanding that, I might be a 50% three-point shooter. You might only be 30. But you shooting an uncontested three is better than me shooting a step back or a late contested three. So if I'm willing to turn that down and get you the better one, we're going to make more than we would if I just took them all. And I think there's a lot of teams out there, especially in our conference, and that's what I see the most. There's a lot of guys shooting threes off the bounce, step back, contested, falling down, trying to get fouled. Percentages are really low, shooting from 30 feet because that's where they can get it off as opposed to turning the ball and letting someone else get shot. So when we became selective, our percentage increased. We were shooting in the 20s early in the year from three. We were taking bad shots. We had guys that weren't good shooters, shooting too many. And once we got to conference, we kind of tightened it up a little bit, and the rotation tightened up, but also the types of shots we took. And when we became selective, we became a better team.
100%, Coach. And there's something my dad, who's a coach, talked to me about all the time, is it's sometimes a bad shot is like a turnover as well. So
yes. So
he talked about that. Your bad shots are turnover for us because you took us a robbed opportunity to get a better shot. You took a horrible shot. So
100%.
And you also did a good job limiting real turnovers as well this year, even in basketball. Talk about your guards and how they really took care of the ball for you, got you into your actions the right way, and making smart decisions with the ball, and just making smart shot selections with the ball as well.
We talk about trust a lot. Guards want freedom, right? That's as a guard, that's what you thrive in. Is you always want freedom to make plays for yourself and others, and sometimes you might go off script, and I believe in that as well. But you earn that, right? And the trust comes from your assist to turnover ratio. So for me, the guys that have positive assist to turnover ratios 2-to-1 or better are going to be the guys that I allow to make plays, massage the ball, go off script. And, you know, Brandon Whitney's an example of that, where he'd go 4 or 5 games without a turnover. Now, he's a low-risk player, so he's not going to come out and have 9, 10 assists. If it's not a play he thinks he can finish, he's not even going to attempt it. And so he's always been a safe basketball player. That's why he shoots 50% from the floor for a career. And his assist-to-turnover ratio, I believe, is 3-to-1 for his career. And so when you've got low-risk guys on the floor, you can give them more freedom. And then sometimes your high-risk guys, you can survive their turnovers. And so Monty Williams is going to be a little more high-risk because of the types of plays he makes for others. But you're going to survive those turnovers that he might have because he's generating so much offense during that period of time. And then you've got the low-risk guy next to him on the floor. So it creates a good balance.
One for you, Coach, man. 25 wins this season, man, in a tough league, tough non-league place. So I about the accomplishment of getting that many wins, knowing the tough non-league that you had, and going to the Big Sky, which we know is tough every night.
It's hard. You know, we're going to be top 30 every year in non-conference schedule. You know, whether that's 4 or 5 guarantee games. Our tournament, we always try to bring in one team that's going to be a contender in their conference at least. And then we'll play some mid-majors, you know, the Utah States, the Northern Iowas, the San Franciscos of the world that are operating at a high level. And we hope that, you know, we could pick some of those off. And so you're going to look up at your record's not going to be what some of the other teams in your conferences might be because you played so many games on the road. But I think the most important thing for us is building tough skin, play at a high level, compete at a high level, show us our warts early. And so that's what those teams do, is they help us develop who we are. It gives us an understanding when we look in the mirror what our strengths and weaknesses are. It's a lot easier to talk to a young man about areas of growth and things that he's not good at after we get our butts kicked, as opposed to playing weak competition and winning every game. So I think tough schedules in November pay off in March.
100%. Coach DeCuire, thank you for your time as always, my brother. I'll be cheering for your tournament. Hopefully we're talking again in a week or so. We're going to the Sweet 16, Coach. We'll talk to you real soon after that, brother.
Let's do it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your interest in our program.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you so much, brother. You be safe, man.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Enjoy your day.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to The Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.